Right. So I'm just going to run down the list of games that I've played and beaten, and give like short reviews on thoughts. I'm just doing this randomly after recording a previous video, so I might as well do it. Let's see. Alien Isolation is a pretty good game. It's I don't know if it's the best Alien game ever. I mean, there's some Alien versus Predator games that were pretty good on the PC in the early 2000s. They were pretty good, but for an Alien game, for a game that's primarily set on in the Alien universe, it's pretty good. I definitely recommend it. The ending has some serious pacing issues though. They kind of rush it through it a bit while trying to maintain the survival horror aspect of it. It doesn't work very well, but it's pretty good overall, and we won't be getting a sequel to it because the developers who made the game have broken up basically. Amnesia, I have to still complete it, but you know, so far it's pretty good. It's like Alien Isolation. It's pretty good survival horror type game, and it's creepy, and nothing else I can say. Arma 3 is what else can I say about this game? It's when everything's working right, it's very immersive. But the problem with this game is that the people that you're playing with online are too slow. They don't know what they're doing. The difficulty is really high, which is fine. I know some people would want this game, play this game to be realistic, but I'm talking the AI literally snipes you and you die instantly. And it, like, even though you're trying to be very careful, like in some servers, it took us an hour to get the game rolling, only for me to get out of the APC or whatever and then sniped, instantly dead. That's a big issue with this game, not with the actual AI. It's the people that are playing it just really don't know what they're doing. The main issue I have with the game, though, other than the gameplay, is the performance is an absolute disgrace. And I know someone's going to say because the AI is very advanced. I don't give a fuck. I really don't. The performance in this game is a joke. Regardless of what settings you use, it's really bad. And hopefully with Arma 4 they can fix these CPU issues or whatever it's plaguing this game. Because Arma 2 and Arma 3, if you look at videos of it, you can see AI battles. You can see it's really amazing to see AI battling each other in a realistic way. It looks amazing at night time, seeing all the explosions and all the tracers from the bullets flying. It's amazing. But unfortunately, in this game, the performance is beyond bad. Here's an infamous one. I've been playing it for 5 hours, it says there. I think I've been playing it for longer than that, though. I like the customization in it. I like the fact that there's more RPG elements in it. I think it looks really good as well. Graphics wise, it's pretty amazing. Has a few performance issues, but I think I can, with the right settings, you can get it to run on an i5 GTX 960 at 60 FPS most of the time, like medium, high mixtures. But the problem with this game is, funny enough, I'm just not interested in the characters. And in an Assassin's Creed game, if the characters aren't good enough, you really have a problem. Because the story in Assassin's Creed is important, the characters, and I can't even remember the protagonist's name. I can't remember anyone from the game at all. I just play as an Assassin's Creed game, I guess. I just jump around rooftops. But the gameplay is a bit worse, I find now, because I mean, it did introduce RPG elements, but also the parkour is it's sloppy. Some people say it's way better. I don't think it is. I think the animations are making it look much better than it actually is. I think it's really sloppy compared to the others in the series. But it's not a bad game. It's a disappointment for sure. I beat this game in 10 hours. I actually beat it in one night. I ran through the game's main, look at the achievements, says it all. I just beat the main story basically, and I liked it. I thought it was well written, but I can't say much. It's if you like the Arkham games, you'll like this, but I don't know what else to say other than that. The side quests, there's a good few of them, I guess, but I just haven't played them, so I couldn't tell you if they're really good or not. But I enjoyed it. Here's another one. Similar to Assassin's Creed Unity, once you get over the performance issues, you have a solid game. I actually think, I actually like this one better than Origins. I actually think this game is the best looking game of all time, even today. To be fair, I haven't played Battlefield 1 or anything like that, but from what I've played, this is easily the best looking game I've ever played, ever. Even looking at videos of Battlefield 1, I still feel that this game is just amazing. Unfortunately, the Batmobile is absolute piss, and a lot of people would say ignore it then, but you can't, because they put it they shoehorn it into the story, and the missions that it comes with. A lot of the side quests are just like absolutely ridiculously bad. Like, get rid of the mines around Gotham City. It's poor gameplay. Other than that, I think it's a really good game. BeamNG, I wanted to play this game for years, and as you can see from 4 hours play, you can tell that it probably hasn't gone as well as it should have, because it's not really a game at the end of the day. It's more like an engine to play with the physics. That's all you're doing, is playing with the physics. Similar to Arma 3, but with cars, I guess, in kind of, you know. It's fun. It's a fun novelty, but 4 hours, as you can see, the novelty wears off. Once the novelty wears off, I don't know. It's very hard to get things set up as well. The menus are too complex. That's the main issue I have with it. The menus just don't allow it to really shine where it should. But when you get things going, when you start seeing crashes happen, it's amazing. It's one of the best engines I've seen for a game. Let's see. Bioshock, amazing. I don't know what else to say. I just recently beat this on hard mode, and the gameplay is engaging. The characters are great. Sound is good. Everything's good about this game. It's a simple single player game that's really good. Bioshock 2 is good right now as well. A lot of people were disappointed with it, but I actually enjoy it just as much as the first. But the level structure might be a tiny bit more linear and simple compared to Bioshock 1, but it still has its moments where you're going through exploring and opening up different passageways and whatever, just like in the original. But yeah, it's a good game. I have all the DLC and I have the story mode completed. This game's brilliant. It's just a shame that the developers behind it are absolute cunts, or at least one of them is. That's the main thing that's so bad about this game, is the guy in charge of the company who made it is just an absolute prick. Like, beyond anything, he's a fucking complete cunt. But other than that, I have all the DLC. I haven't completed this game fully yet. I haven't even beat the game story mode yet, but I'm going through it. Eventually I'll come back to beating it, but so far it's amazing. I already beat this on the PS3 and I haven't played on PC yet, but when I played on PS3, it was amazing. Very addictive, trying to unlock the cars, and it's very, very fun when you see the way you unlock cars is you're just exploring this open world, and whenever a car drives by you, another racing car, you basically have to crash it, make it crash in order to unlock it. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, it's a really good game. It's actually getting a remaster very soon, although I'm not sure if it's coming to PC, because I don't fucking know why. I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it, where it's just ridiculous. Hopefully the PC version has controller support for when I come back to play it. This is an amazing game as well. After EA fucked up SimCity 2014, I think 2013. After they fucked that up completely by making it social or whatever, this company came in with a game called City Skylines, which is basically SimCity, the replacement. And if you love SimCity, you'll love this. It's very simple, but if you master it, if you want to really get deep into it, There's a ton of depth, so it's an amazing game. Um, I can't really give an honest opinion about this game because I'm not good at it. So all I'll say is it's fun every now and then to fuck around with online and play team deathmatch. Even though the spawns are beyond bad, they're just a disgrace, honestly. But it's not bad, I guess. I enjoy playing it every now and then. I've already beaten Dead Space 1 and 2 on the Xbox, but I will be playing them again soon on PC, and both games are brilliant. Again, if you like, the best way I can say is if you like Resident Evil 4, especially Resident Evil 4, I'm not just saying Resident Evil in general, I mean Resident Evil 4, that kind of gameplay, you will love Dead Space 1 and 2. Dead Space 3 is a travesty. It's after killing the franchise, so ignore it. It's no more than a shooting game, and the story's horrible. I played this on PS4, and from what I've played, it's pretty fun, but it's ridiculously difficult. Last time I played it, I haven't played it in like years, so I'm guessing I just wasn't tactically thinking about the gameplay when I was playing. I was just thinking it was a Minecraft kind of thing, That's why I was so bad at it. I'm actually surprised to see it has workshop items here, so that's interesting. But it's really fun. This is one of the best remakes I've ever played. If you can call it remake, it's kind of a remake, but it's also brand new at the same time. It's a reboot, I guess. It's fantastic. The gameplay is, I don't know how to explain it. It's addictive, and you go from one level to another, and then it just becomes an arena, like in Quake or something, or Unreal Engine, and you just start fighting the AI. Runs at 60 FPS, 1080p maxed out for me on a 960. It is super smooth gameplay. It is definitely worth buying. And the multiplayer, it's not very active, but there is bots, AI bots, so if you want to play with the AI bots or play local, it's really good. I mean, they ported this thing to the Nintendo Switch. That's how fucking good it is. That's how smooth it runs. It's ridiculous. As you can see, 8 hours played. I want to get back into this game eventually because I've been playing some free-to-play games lately, and I'm just in the mood to play something online. How can I explain this one? Before I got this PC, I was on consoles, pretty much only consoles exclusively. I never had a PC before, so I never really got to experience MMOs or anything like that. So this is one of the first real MMOs I've ever played, and to be honest with you, there's a ton of quality in this. It's not going to kill World of Warcraft, but there's a ton of quality, there's a ton of lore. I can see myself going back to this and enjoying it for 100 hours or so. Eventually, whenever that happens, whenever I'm not busy with lots of other games. But so far it's not working out. It's just, I feel MMOs, the worlds are too static, whether it's the graphics, whether it's the way the AI moves around, the NPC it's just too static. I can see it, there's quality here, but I don't know. It's a problem that MMOs, I hope, eventually fix one of these days. But yeah, it's well worth it though if you like Elder Scrolls. Skyrim. What more is there to say? This is probably the last great Bethesda game. I know a lot of people shit on this game as well for dumbing down, but I think this has a good balance between lore, in-depth gameplay, and maybe simplicity for newcomers. I don't know. I know people don't like that. I don't like it, and you'll see eventually why I don't like it when we get to a certain game very soon. But I think Skyrim does have a good balance. The modding is amazing. The game runs good on the special edition. I can run it at 4K with lots of mods on the original. Yeah, it's a classic, really. This is a game I'm currently playing at the moment. I know it says 3 hours, but I actually have more like 40 hours because I'm using Fallout 3 script extender, which uses its own launcher, so Steam doesn't realise that I'm playing the game. I beat on PS3, and someone's probably going to be saying that's some dedication because the PS3 version is a fucking pile of shit, and it is. Once you get the DLC installed on the PS3 version, it becomes unplayable basically. But Fallout 3 is an interesting one because I can't really comment on why veterans of Fallout 1 and 2 and maybe Tactics hate Fallout 3. I can't really comment on that because, as you can see, I've not played Fallout 1 and 2, but I will eventually get around to it. I can only speak from my experiences that Fallout 3 introduced me to Bethesda's games. It introduced me to how an RPG can really have a deep world with lore. It's the first game to make me really feel that way about a game. It's probably the first game to make me look at the wiki for a game. So I give it credit for that. I've gone back and playing it today, and I have mods installed, and it looks great with the mods installed and new weapons. I enjoy the gameplay. A lot of people say the gunplay sucks, but I really don't think. I think people are misunderstanding why. Like they say, Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas has shit gunplay. I really think they're missing the point. These are RPGs with shooter mechanics, not shooters with RPG. You know, it's not the other way around. If it was the other way around, you will see what happens right next. Actually, let's get onto it. Look how much hours I've played in it to understand that I know this game. This is a horrible game, in my opinion. And you might say, why have you played it that much? Because, like I said, I've been a big fan of Fallout 3 and Skyrim, and when Fallout 4 was coming out, I knew it was going to be day one. I was hoping that this game was going to be more of the same. It was going to be brilliant Fallout 3 stuff. It's honestly, I don't even know what to say about it. It's an absolute disgrace. If there's players watching this who thought going from Fallout 1 and 2 to Fallout 3 was a disgrace, then think about this. Going from Fallout 3 to Fallout 4 for me was a fucking disgrace. So you're probably thinking, that's how bad Fallout 4 is, and it fucking is that bad. It's truly bad. It's a shooter with RPG mechanics instead of the other way around. That's the way I see it. They pretty much lied to us as well. They tried to make it look like more of the same thing as Fallout 3 for people who liked Fallout 3. It wasn't. I don't know how you can dumb the game down from Fallout 3 any more than they could have, but they managed to do it. There's some positive things about it though. The graphics are very well made. I enjoy the graphics look great. A lot of people when the game was first revealed, a lot of people said, oh, the graphics don't look that much better than New Vegas and 3. That's a load of bullshit. That's complete utter nonsense really, because I've played those two games and beaten them with the mods installed all day, and Fallout 4 looks well better than them easily. The problem with Fallout 4 is they cut out the lore. The lore that's in there is bullshit. Like they clearly didn't read into the lore from Fallout 1 and 2. They clearly didn't look at the wiki for Fallout 1 and 2 to see what lore was correct. Like, for example, Jet is a drug that was made in the post-war, but in Fallout 4 they think it was made before the war. And when someone mentioned this to P. Hines on Twitter, he basically said, who gives a shit? This is a game with super green mutants in it. Who gives a shit? That kind of response right there is a fucking joke. You would not have your fucking money. You would not have your money. You would not have your house. You would not have your car. You would not have your job if it wasn't for these fans who have handed their money to you. Why would you respond in that way? I don't understand it. It's ridiculous, and it's annoying as well. But the good news is Fallout 4 has been panned by a lot of people. It didn't get the reception they really wanted. Bethesda. They thought this was just going to get 10 out of 10s and 9 out of 10s. At best, they got 7 and 8 out of 10s, which is really bad from Bethesda standards. It also came out the same year as Witcher 3. Not really good. So moving on. Now here's something that is good though. I've beaten this on PS3. I've beaten all the DLC on PS3, which again, if anyone's played the PS3 version of this game, they understand how insane that is. The game crashes every 40 minutes, and I mean that genuinely. Every 40 minutes, it crashes without any hesitation or exception. It will crash at 40 minutes or 45 minutes or some bullshit. I beat on that, maxed it out on that, went to the Xbox 360 and maxed it out on the Xbox 360 with all the DLC. And I'm on the New Vegas on PC now. The problem with this though, the reason why you don't see it maxed out on this is because I modded it, and unfortunately I fucked the save up because I was modding too much. But I will max it out on this version as well when I do get back to it. So, but all I can say is it's the true sequel to Fallout 1 and 2. A lot of old school Fallout fans love this one. I love this one. I think this is better than Fallout 4, Fallout 3, Skyrim, anything Bethesda's ever made. It has all the lore, it has all the gameplay that you'd ever want. It has the very hard mode is now very hard instead of the bullshit pushover from Fallout 3. Voice acting's good. Characters are great. The only problem I do have with it though is the soundtrack isn't really as big as I'd hoped. There's a lot of repeating songs throughout the game on the radio. I think Fallout 3 has a beat in this area. I also think Fallout 3 might have a beat in atmosphere at least. I think the Capital Wasteland was a bit more immersive for me than the Mojave Desert. Although, to be fair, it is a desert. How can it be immersive? So I'll give them that. But other than that, it's so much better. It's not even funny. It's really... I mean, what happened to Obsidian was a joke as well. Bethesda was going to give them an extra $20,000 if the game had reached over 84 Metacritic. Unfortunately, because Fallout New Vegas was built on the Gamebryo engine, which powered Morrowind, Oblivion, Fallout 3, because at the point that Fallout New Vegas came out in, which was 2010, the engine couldn't take any more additions to it. It couldn't take any more without having to use script extenders or whatever bullshit, you know. It was pushing the engine at that stage, and unfortunately the game was riddled with bugs no matter what version you played, and it got panned for this. And I think rightfully so. I think any game that has bugs like this should be panned. But what I do know is it wasn't Obsidian's fault. It wasn't the developer's fault. It was the publisher's fault. It was Bethesda Softworks that should have been fucking panned for this game's release when it first came out. Or even with the patches. Even with the patches, it was still an absolute mess. But so yeah, it got 83 Metacritic instead of 84 or something like that. And because of 1 point difference, Bethesda being the assholes that they are, the absolute cunts that they are. I mean, if you look up the history of this company, you know the kind of shit they do is absolutely insane. They didn't give them the $20,000. You know, I mean, it says it all about them. But what's really ironic is, as far as I know, Fallout 4 only got like an 84 or an 85 Metacritic as well, which is funny. So by that standard, they probably wouldn't have gotten $20,000 if they were making Fallout 4 as well. That's how bad Fallout 4 is, you know. Absolute overhyped pile of fucking shit. And I played enough of it to know. I don't care if someone's out there is going to say you played so much of it, you must have loved it. I only played it because I'm such a big fan that I wanted some good stuff to happen. I wanted some. There was nothing there. It's just a horrible game. The story is terrible. Gary's Mod is not really a game. Well, it kind of is. If you played Little Big Planet on PlayStation, it's kind of one of those games where the community gets to make the games, and you can go from servers, and the game automatically downloads different textures, assets to make another game, and you play online with those people. It's popular for role-playing games as well, where you pretend to be characters, and it's pretty funny when you join one of those. I remember joining the Star Wars role-playing server, and I'd made one fucking mistake, and I got booted from the game. You know, one simple mistake. They told me to turn left, I turned right, and they just booted me from the game. You know, it's ridiculous. There's like Nazi servers and all that where you pretend to be like in the Holocaust. It's really, it's ridiculous. It's an interesting game. It's an interesting application, I gotta say, if you want to call it an application. GoldenEye Source is a free download. You can download this no matter what. You don't have to have Half-Life or Gary's Mod or anything like that. You can download it right now, no matter what, if you don't own anything. This is one of the best things I've ever seen that's free, and sadly not many people play it online. There is a community that plays it online that's very small though, like we're talking like 12 to 15 people in one day at any given time maybe, and it's sad because it's for a free game. It's amazing. The good news is if you want to play with bots, there is that option, and if you want to play local, you can play local. So I'd still say download it because of that. GTA 5 PC version is very well made. Graphics upgrade is noticeable over the PS3 version that I beat. I'm actually surprised I don't have that many achievements for it. Anyway, GTA 5, everything about GTA 5 is perfect. Almost everything. There's two things that they really fucked up with this game, in my opinion. One is the deformation of the cars. You know, if you played GTA 4, you'd know how easy it was and how cool it was as well, to be honest, to smash up cars into little, like you can smash them up into pancakes, because that's how good the deformation worked in that game. It was very fun to get the Humvee and get a car into a corner and just keep smashing it up until it's literally a sausage, literally shaped like a sausage. It's ridiculously good. Unfortunately, GTA 5, it still has that deformation, but it's been, I don't know whether it's been toned down or if it's just a lot harder to achieve. Either way, I think it's a mistake. The second problem with this game is the physics. When they first showed off the trailer for this and we knew it was in San Andreas and we saw all the mountains, I was so happy, I was so excited to see the GTA 4 physics, which I like. I know a lot of people had a problem with it. Some people liked it, some people hated the GTA 4 physics. I think it's still some of the best physics I've seen in an open world game, even today. It's just amazingly fun. Really, lots of depth, lots of outcomes can happen with it. And I wanted to just throw cars off that mountain and see the deformation as well, combine with the GTA 4 physics and flipping all over the place. Unfortunately that didn't happen, although you can still get some decent crashes in the game. You can look at videos online showcasing the physics of GTA 5 and how really toned down they are from GTA 4. It's still a great game, it's still perfect otherwise, other than those two issues, which is a real shame because I play games like GTA 5 for the physics most of the time. I play them to crash the cars and to see outcomes. But in GTA 5, a lot of the crashes are just after a while you start to notice they're kind of similar to each other. They're starting to be the same. I think that's a real mistake. I think that's not really good design for a sandbox. But other than that, it's well worth buying. I haven't played it on PC yet. As you can see, 6 minutes. But on console, I don't know why I have all the DLC there, actually, that's weird. On console, PS3, I played this on PS3. Look at it this way. The demo for this game lets you play one small part of the island. And I played that demo for hours upon hours. A lot of time went into that demo. That's how good this game is. So when the game actually came out and I played it and I bought it, this game is ridiculously good. It's basically physics, the game, except over the top physics. Crashing cars off mountains, crashing cars off like Mount Everest or something like that, and seeing what would happen. This game gives you the answer in the most over the top ways. The story is horrible. Who cares about the story though? The gameplay is fucking fantastic. The mods are really good on PC as well. You can have multiple grapple hooks and you can just throw all the cars off at the same time and see what would happen. Sadly, Just Cause 3 did the same mistake that GTA 5 did, and that was fucking tone down the physics. I don't get it though. With GTA 5 I can forgive it because everything else is so good in that game. with Just Cause 3, it's unforgivable because the main meat of the gameplay focuses so much on the physics itself. And unfortunately, they've toned it down big time in Just Cause 3. I haven't played Just Cause 3, but looking at the gameplay, I can just tell I'd be disappointed with it. So it's a shame. But at least you can still play Just Cause 2. Who knows, I don't know. Maybe if there's a Just Cause 3 mod that brings back Just Cause 2's physics, I would definitely buy it. Definitely buy it on PC. I haven't looked that up actually. But let's see. Also, there's a free multiplayer mod that's popular. Left 4 Dead 2 on PC has Left 4 Dead 1 included as well, so this is for both games. They're not really that dissimilar. They're basically the same fucking game with a few additions. Left 4 Dead 2 is a classic. Well, Left 4 Dead is a classic. If you haven't played it yet, go get it right now. I don't care. It's cheap. It's like €20, and you get 2 games in one. Even though it says Left 4 Dead 2, you do get Left 4 Dead 1's campaigns and whatever multiplayer. There's not much to say about Left 4 Dead 2 because it's old. It's from 2009, but it's still one of the most played games on Steam. It's regularly in the top 25 at least, which means there's like 13,000 people playing it most times. It's got a huge modern community, lots of different maps, different campaigns. You can play, you can get some new guns, new zombies. You can like make all the characters, turn them into Pokemon or Mario or something like that, and change the voices. It's absolutely insane. The game is very good on very hard difficulty as well. It's very immersive. So anyway, if you haven't played it yet, I don't know what the hell you're doing. I mean, it's ridiculous. Limbo, I haven't played it yet, as you can see. I did play it on Xbox 360 and I beat it. The main issue with this game is the game itself is excellent. The price isn't. Now that's been fixed as it's gotten older, so I don't have to worry about that with the Steam version. But I do remember paying €15 for this game when it first came out, and I beat it in 2 hours. It was without a doubt one of the biggest rip-offs of all time, and I know a lot of people are going to say, sometimes shorter games, as long as the gameplay is super good, it's worth the money. In my opinion, not with this one. It's not with this one, I don't think. But the game itself is very good. Mass Effect, already played this on Xbox, and excellent game. The best in the series, if you ask me. I've played them all. I've beaten them all except Andromeda, which I'll go back to eventually. But Mass Effect 1 is easily the best in the series, even though it's the oldest. The RPG is great. The only problem that everyone seems to have with this game is the gun mechanics are shit. They don't make sense. In my opinion, I don't really care. I enjoy it. Also, landing on planets, a lot of people hate it, which is understandable because a lot of them were copy and pasted. But I honestly think, I have no problem with it. I really don't. I don't know, because there's enough planets with story and side quests, meaty content that really overlooks. You don't have to land on those randomly generated planets. You can just play through the game's main story, and there's still a ton of meat to go through. So I don't have a problem with the planets, even though they were poorly implemented. They're still fun to land on and see the vistas and such. So Andromeda, I'm playing it at the moment. Look at it this way: I don't care for multiplayer in games like this. I couldn't care less about multiplayer in most games. Like, there's Max Payne 3 below it. I'm sure the multiplayer in that is shit as well, poorly implemented. But Andromeda, I've played 100 hours of this game, and about 120 hours of the game. I'd say 100 hours, 110 hours have been played on the multiplayer, and 10 hours have been played on the single player. That kind of tells you the problems that the game has with the single player. It's just not very good at the moment. It's not bad though. It's not terrible. Could have been a bigger disaster. So far, I actually think it's better than Mass Effect 3, which I know a lot of people will protest that, I guess, but I don't give a shit. Mass Effect 3, I hated that game so much. A lot of people say, oh, it's the ending. I don't care about the ending. I couldn't care less about the ending. Mass Effect 3's gameplay and lore was stripped out. It's too linear. The gameplay isn't as interesting. It's too linear. It's way toned down from Mass Effect 1 and 2. That was my main problem with it. Whereas Mass Effect Andromeda kind of brings some of it back from Mass Effect 1. The only problem is the story isn't very good, the game's full of bugs, and the multiplayer is pretty decent. So I would comment on this since I've beaten some of these games on the NES itself. If you like Mega Man and Mega Man 1 to 7, I think all the NES ones basically, you'll love this game. It's a good collection, and I got it for €10, which is a steal. As concept arts, as music players and all that for the songs, lots of filters. It's perfect. Another controversial game, basically. I mean, this is the generation where a lot of long-running franchises went down to fucking shit, down to shitter. I don't really know what to say about this one. The gameplay is really good. The gameplay is fantastic. It's a bit flawed in some ways, though. I mean, it's a stealth game, but most of the weapons that you can make are lethal. I always found that a bit annoying, to be honest. I thought they could have put more creativity into giving us like more weapons that are, stun guns or whatever. I don't know, but gameplay is fantastic. Story's okay. It's not amazing, but it's not good. The problem is the Metal Gear Solid games have mostly revolved around the story, and unfortunately, this being the last proper Metal Gear Solid game for the foreseeable future, I mean probably forever, didn't really end the series on a good note, to be honest. I mean, it did tie around the Metal Gear series as a whole. The ending to this game ties into Metal Gear 1 on the MSX from 1987 or something. I mean, that's just fucking ridiculous, but it works, I guess. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. It was a disappointment, but it's still a good game. I don't know what else to say about this one. It's pretty good. The PC version's the best. Mods, yeah. These two games, well, actually, I've only played Exodus, but I've seen enough gameplay footage of Odyssey to know how it plays, and I've played on the PS1 as a kid. So basically, if you haven't played Oddworld, these two Oddworld games, get them. It's, if you like cinematic platformers with puzzled elements, these are top tier. These are some seriously fucking good games with good stories, good music, good environments, everything, good art. It's amazing. Path of Exile is a free-to-play game. I've played 4 hours of it. From what I've played in those 4 hours, pretty much almost everything's free, other than cosmetics like armor or like how your armor looks, not actual armor. I mean, if you like Diablo, you will love this game. I'll be getting back into this game eventually. Let's see. Pixel Junk Shooter Ultimate is brilliant. I do remember having issues with it though, with crashes or something, or the controls fucking up, because I had the rumble on the controller. If you manage to fix the issues this game has, it's fantastic. It has Pixel Junk Shooter 1 and 2 in it, and those games are brilliant. So here's the most played game of my list, basically. PlanetSide 2 is an interesting game. A lot of people would say it's like Battlefield, except in the future, but it's not really like that. Battlefield is more closer to Call of Duty than a lot of people would have you believe, at least in the time to kill. In the time to kill in Battlefield, it's comparable almost to Call of Duty at this stage. With this game though, you can die fast if someone's good at getting headshots, obviously, but it's fair enough. The game is so the time to kill is so fair in this game that I actually play this with a controller, believe it or not, and I do well. I have 2.6 KD. I'm able to do well against players with similar KDs or lower. I can catch people out that have higher KDs, whatever. I don't really care about the KD aspect. I'm just giving examples of how easy it is to get into this game. But the problem with this game is that the performance is shit, regardless of your CPU. unless your CPU is running at 5 gigahertz i7 7700K or something, which most people don't have. And since this is a free-to-play game, you would assume most people who are trying to play this game don't have money to be spending on hardware like that. So, but I have an i5 4690K and a GTX 960. The performance for this game can be really fucking annoying when it gets into huge battles, but it's doable, you know. So that's one thing to consider, I guess. Another issue is I spent all this time playing the game, and a lot of that time has been played in vehicles. And recently, late last year, they introduced updates that nerfed vehicles against each other and against infantry on one of the vehicles anyway, the one on the faction that I play anyway, for the most ridiculous reason possible, honestly. So yeah, it seems to me that this game is going towards, it's still supported. It has about 4,000 or 5,000 people playing worldwide, which is some people say that's nothing, but it's still being supported. I gotta give them that. New guns, new camos, new cosmetics, whatever. It's not paid to win. That's another very positive thing about it. Most of the guns you get at the very start of the game for free are the best guns in the game. If you want to buy games or buy guns with the in-game credits, you can rank them up pretty easily if you're decent at the game. It doesn't take long at all. It's very fair. The game is it's one of the best free-to-play systems I've seen. It's super fair, as long as you're decent at it. And if I can do well with the controller, you should be able to do well with a mouse and a keyboard. So there's not really much excuses. Huge battles. It can look pretty good at night time on ultra settings with the tracers flying around everywhere. Lots of gameplay scenarios. Some bullshit problems though with the balance issues. Like I said, vehicles are nerfed, but they also buffed heavy assault teams, which are anti-vehicle infantry. It doesn't make sense, you know. It boggles the mind. Some of the choices they're making just do not add up, do not make sense from any logical standpoint. It doesn't matter what you say, it just doesn't add up. It's annoying as fuck. So Resident Evil remake, I haven't beaten this game yet. I will eventually. That's probably becoming a bit of a trend, as you can tell. I have too many fucking games, basically. I basically splash out any savings I have on the Steam sales. I haven't done it though in the last year because I have too many games. But I save up money and then I just go to the Steam sales, and if you're a Steam user, which you probably are, then. But if you're on consoles and you're wondering why I have so many games, the Steam sales basically come around every winter and summer, and the games get unbelievably cheap. And it becomes a free-for-all of just buying games, just constantly buying games. Everyone's just buying games to the point that they're breaking down the servers. Servers just can't handle it. I wonder how much money they make within a month of that summer sales. It's billions, probably. But yeah. So Resident Evil Remake is one of the greatest remakes of all time. I haven't beaten it, but from what I've played so far, it is shockingly good. I played Resident Evil 1, 2 and 3 on PS3 about 3 years ago. Already played them when I was a kid. You know, I had an older brother that had them on the PS1, so I already knew about them. I just wasn't good enough to play them, you know, because it's a survival horror game. I mean, there's gamers today that are my age that don't like this kind of gameplay. It's ridiculous, honestly, because they'll often scream and bitch about how shit the controls are, not realising that the controls for these games are shit, intentionally shit, so that a single zombie becomes a threat. That's the entire point. It's called survival horror for a reason, you know. So this is not the game for people who are into Resident Evil 6, basically. But this remake is amazing. It's a remaster of a remake. Good remaster as well. So, yeah, nothing else to say about that. God, this is probably so many games to get through. Resident Evil 5. I've maxed this game out on PS3. I've maxed it out on PC nearly. I don't have the DLC, but this game is brilliant. It's a decent follow-up well, actually, no, it's a bad follow-up to Resident Evil 4, but because Resident Evil 4 was such a masterpiece, this game being a bad follow-up still means it's a good game. The problem I have with this game, the main issue I have with this game is the length. You can beat this game very quick. But other than that, it's great. Co-op is fun, online is fun, Mercenaries is excellent, gameplay is really good, graphics are great, even today at 4K it's just fucking great stuff. And here comes a disappointment. I'll only say one positive thing about this game, and that is the length is actually better than Resident Evil 5, and the campaigns, you have 4 campaigns and they're pretty well made. Some aspects of it are okay. The gunplay could have been good if it wasn't for the fact that the enemies are just bullet sponges to the point where it's not fun. It really isn't. Story is ridiculous in a lot of ways. Characters are ridiculous. I haven't played Mercenaries mode that much because I just simply didn't care about the game. I've beaten it completely now, but you know, it's everything wrong with a lot of games today. They're turning a lot of old school games into action games, basically, for the ADHD generation. I hate to say that, but it's true. That's all they're doing now, and it's really a shame. Resident Evil 7 seems to be better than this game, and I'll buy Resident Evil 7 when I can eventually, but yeah, Resident Evil 6, one of the biggest disappointments. I still have my original Sega Mega Drive from the late 1980s. I've played all these games and I've beaten them, and if you want to get the Mega Drive and Genesis Classics for €13 on a Steam sale, get it. You get like 45 games or something, and you have mods now, which are very easy to install. That's actually a cool one, the TMNT there. That actually makes sense for Streets of Rage. It's kind of similar story. Anyway. So this game right here, I've beaten it in one night, 12 hours. I just beat it, and it's actually really good. It's actually brilliant. I think obviously the obvious comparison would be to Mario Kart, but I can't say it's better than any Mario Kart other than Mario Kart 7 on the 3DS. I really hated that one. I think that game has no depth at all to it. But just being better than any Mario Kart, to be honest, is a good feat in itself. So yeah, it's a really good card game, one of the best on Steam. I recommend it. Graphics are very good as well. So a lot of games here I've played, like I've played Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Adventure DX already, and I know there's games up here that I haven't played on Steam yet, but I've played them on other consoles and I've done a review on them. But I want to get through this list a bit faster now because honestly I'm losing my voice. This is ridiculous. There's too many games. Sonic CD. It's a polarizing game because the game focuses more on exploration than flow of speed and speedrunning in general. You can play this game like you can still speedrun through this game, but it's a lot harder because of the way the levels are designed. Other than that, it's still fantastic. Soundtrack's brilliant, graphics are brilliant. Yep, that's all I can say. It's a really good game. So it's like Sonic 1.5 or something, you know. This is an excellent game. My only problem with it is that it basically has no DLC. Casino Nights isn't really DLC. It's not even a level, and it's too short. There's only 9 levels with 2 acts each. I wish there was much more than that, but hopefully if Generations 2 comes out, then I can understand. There's also missions and all that. You can do lots of missions and so on. So really good game. I waited for this one for a long time. The only complaint I have is that basically it's too short, and I actually forgot what I was going to say there. What the other complaint was? What was it going to be? Oh yeah, it's not an original game. It's not Sonic 5. so it reuses levels from other Sonic games, and yeah, it does do a lot of different things with those levels, but because of how good the physics engine is in this game, it's perfect. This is exactly what we want from this is old school Sonic at its finest in a modernized setting. So they really succeeded with this one. The only problem is it's not Sonic 5, and I hope they bring these developers back for that one if they're making it. But yeah, absolutely buy this game. Buy this game just to support the fact that we want less of the next two games you're going to see and more of this. Sonic episode, I'll do both in one. Sonic 4 episode 1 and 2 are fucking horrible. They are fucking travesties on this franchise. Horrible games. The music is mostly bad, which is surprising because even the bad Sonic games usually have good music, but there's barely any good soundtracks. Physics are the main issue with this game because they're not Sonic 1, 2 and 3 and Sonic & Knuckles and Sonic CD physics, so that's already fucking bullshit, to be honest. Because it's called Sonic 4, so what would you expect? You'd obviously expect more of Sonic 1, 2 and 3, but no, you don't get that. I played the Sonic Advance and Sonic Rush games, and they're so much better than this. It's not even funny, and they don't even contain the original physics. They don't come close, and yet they're so much better than this. So it's obviously not just the physics issue that's the problem here. The game's design is just linear as fuck. It's horrible. The art style is awful as well. This isn't a real game. It's a free game based on the Sonic franchise. Funny enough, it comes right below two terrible official games. This unofficial game is so much better than those top two games. It's laughable. So yeah, go download it if you like Sonic. So Space Engine isn't really a game, but I recommend it anyway. It's free. Basically, it's a simulation of the world, the universe. You can go onto different planets. You can take screenshots of those planets, and it's amazing, really, for a free thing. It's really good. I haven't played enough of Starbound, but if you like Terraria, it's like Terraria on steroids, basically. But it's probably not as addictive, I don't think, as Terraria was, because of how expansive it was. But I definitely look forward to going back to this one. I haven't played this game yet, but I'm mentioning this. I can't wait to play it because, my friend gifted this to me, and I've heard so many good things about it, and I'm just in the mood for one of these kind of games. Just, I don't know. Super Meat Boy, I've played on Xbox, but this is really fucking fantastic, honestly. This is, not many... a lot of games nowadays who try to copy the retro games, copy the gameplay of those retro games as well. They don't really try to come up with something on their own. But Super Meat Boy goes for a retro kind of style while also introducing its own gameplay, and it's fucking amazing. It's also really difficult, but there's a lot of depth, there's a lot of levels, and it's amazing. But Team Fortress 2 free to play, fantastic. I find my issue with this game though is it's too difficult. Like, I die a lot in this game. You might say I'm just terrible at it, but there's a lot of aspects where I just feel like a lot of bullshit happens, really. I find playing as the engineer to be fun because you don't even get to you get to help the team out while not getting sniped all the time, So Tekken 7, fantastic game. Main problem with it is that some of the levels, the walls are too close to each other now, which means that your character can get pushed up against the wall, and at that stage it's like in a boxing match, being put into the corner is very bad for the person that's in the corner. Like, you're just going to get your ass whooped. In this game it's kind of similar. It's bullshit, it's annoying, it's seriously annoying, to be honest. But other than that, I can say it's fantastic. The story mode is toned down, and the customization is as well, which is let down in that way. But the gameplay without those walls is top tier stuff. Some characters are bullshit, like Xiao Yu. Real bullshit, banned from tournaments kind of thing. But unfortunately, you have to come across them online. And I got so angry at this game because of it that I just stopped playing. It's a shame, really. But the game is fantastic. It's a very good port as well, so I recommend it. I played this on PS Vita for over 300 hours or something, it says. Playing on PC as well. I'm near the end on PC as well. It's a masterpiece in my opinion. Someone's probably going to look at screenshots of this game and say, how the hell can this be a masterpiece? This is what the only time probably I'll ever say you have to play it to understand why it's so good. It's not a Minecraft in 2D. Building houses in this game is actually, doesn't mean it's nothing. You could, if you want, build elaborate houses, but in my opinion that's not even close to the gameplay. The gameplay is this kind of Metroid kind of find better weapons and then find more better weapons, and each weapon does something different, and there's hundreds of them, hundreds of items to collect. It's like Diablo in 2D kind of thing. It's fucking amazing. If you haven't played it, it's €10 and it's well worth it. It's one of the best games of all time. I mean, that's a lot of games I haven't played yet. I've played like Trine 1 and 2 on console on Wii U, but yeah. Warframe is one of the best free-to-play games of all time. If you ever look at any free-to-play game list, you will see Warframe up there easily. It's fantastic if you like Gears of War, except it's more fast-paced. Gears of War Ninjas Edition is basically what I call it. It's third-person shooter where you do missions, but that's not really. It's kind of like Terraria in a way that the gameplay is really not the main. I don't know how to explain it. For me, it's about getting new armor, new weapons, and then experimenting and upgrading those weapons and seeing how far I can push my character to the absolute limits. That's what I find is really fun about this game. It takes a long time to build armors, like we're talking days, and that's the only flaw I can find with it. But other than that, it's really good. Wolfenstein: The New Order is fantastic. It's a modern game. I say it's a modern game because you wouldn't expect Wolfenstein in 2014 to be a good game. You'd expect it to be a train wreck, but it turns out to be really good. Story's fantastic. Gameplay is fantastic. Decent length. There's no multiplayer or anything like that, so they had to focus on the single player. My only issue with this game is, and this is going to sound like a bullshit issue, which it kind of is, the graphics really for 2014, graphics really weren't that good. I was hoping for the graphics to be better. I also find the performance horrible. The performance is a bit of a strange one, because you won't believe what I'm going to say. The game runs better at 4K for me than it does at 1080p, and I am running a 4K TV, so I'm sure there's some bullshit going on in there in the background that's causing that. But I don't even know what to say. It's other than that though, I don't know. The game is amazing. Buy it for cheap though, because you can beat it in 11 hours, as you can see. Play it on hard as well. The Worms games are amazing. If you like tactics, 2D tactical games, with very simple games though, like a child can get into it and play it. So, but it has enough depth for an adult to really get deep into it and enjoy it. So, randomly generated and good campaigns. It's really fun. So yeah, that's the list. There are some games, like I said, I skipped down Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 and all that, because I'd be here all day really, just talk about games all the time. So, thanks for watching.